just joined in 2012. I'm what's called an affiliate member, which means I've demonstrated an interest professionally in horror writing, and I've had one book published. But I'm assuming once the second book comes out, then it'll probably be bumped up to an active membership. I joined, again, mainly for networking, because I was completely new to writing and publishing and everything to do with all of that. It was a good way for me to network with people. We have a very active forum, like Seth mentioned. The HWA on a whole has over 1,000 members, and so there's a very active forum where you can post questions. It's a private forum for members only, no matter what level you are, as long as you're a paying member. And it's a good way to ask questions and get a feel for the industry, especially if you're new like me and you have a lot of questions related to the industry. So that's primarily why I joined. Also because it was a good way for me to get to know locally other people working in horror, and I wanted to start networking locally in Ontario. This was the best way to do it.
Well, when I first started writing, the first few things I sold were horror, and I ended up in an anthology called Northern Frights, which was edited by Mary Paul Hutchison. That was my first big horror sale. And I realized after a while that I had a few credits, and I was at a convention, and the HWA had a party, and everybody was wearing a button that said, "Ask me about HWA." So I asked them about HWA, and they gave me a flyers, and I joined as an affiliate, and then sent in my credentials and got my active membership, and I've been here since.
I remember those.
Yes.
We need to do that again.
We should. It worked for me.
Yeah, yeah. So basically, you can see we have all different levels of interest, experience, and so on, genres. We've got film, we've got nonfiction, we have fiction, we have poetry, and so on. So basically, I guess we really want to know what you people want to know from us at this panel, because we can go in so many different ways. How many people here are brand new to horror writing? Okay. And how many people have been writing horror forever? Nobody? A couple. Oh, a couple. Okay. And how many are members of HWA right now? Hey, we got lots of people that bring on in. Okay. So basically, so how the actual Ontario chapter works, which I'm talking about because we're in Ontario right now, and so we are having the monthly meetings at a place called Orwell's Pub. That may change as our numbers get larger. For many years, I used to have meetings at places like the Old Spaghetti Factory or at the Madison. And sometimes we'd have 30 or 40 people out way back in those days. Now the numbers are a little smaller with our actual physical meetings, but I really want to build them up again, because the more people we have, the more opportunities we can have to network and go out. But for instance, this year we have several conventions we're doing, such as this one. There's a new book convention in November. I think it's called the National Book Expo. We're going to be there, and anyone who's a member of our Ontario chapter can come and volunteer at these events. As we were mentioning earlier, it can be very costly to do it on your own as an individual author, but as a group of authors, you have a higher profile because you're a member of HWA, and then plus economically, how it would work is if you're at a booth and you actually had something to sell, you do give a kickback to HWA so they can recoup some of their costs. But for the most part, it's really, I find these the most exciting opportunities, because it does allow a lot of us who have budgetary constrictions to actually get out to events. But that's not all the time. I'm not saying HWA pays for everything. It's a free-for-all. It's not. But it does allow us opportunities to be where, as one particular little individual author, you may not get. This year we're working on speaking as a group to, at various libraries, all the, from Hamilton to Port Erie, Toronto. Around Halloween time, we're hoping to do a speak at the Merrill Collection, which a few of us will do. These are also opportunities anyone can be part of. You just have to come to the meetings and find out about things. And also in Ontario, Brad has created for us our own personal website. So we have our little secret place we can meet between meetings. We have a private forum, which is locked down, password protected, so we can all talk. So even if you live in Sudbury or something, we can all still communicate and keep lines open. You don't physically have to be at every meeting by any stretch of the imagination.
Meeting at Orwell better. Meeting at Orwell's has beer.
And good wings.
Yeah, we always go on wing night.
Orwell's nice.
So, yeah, so that's sort of, and also, another thing that I sort of got for us years ago is that there's a monthly newsletter that the HWA puts out for all the members. And what happens is that I write a column called the Canadian Content Corner, which I named way back when they started all the Canadian Content Corner stuff, right? And so basically we get our own little kind of personal little blurb in our newsletter, which is great because Canada has like a spotlight on it when you send me news. I don't publish my column unless people send me news. So if you have lots of news, and I'm talking any news, you got a dog, send the puppy picture. You know, it doesn't matter. We just want to know what our members are doing, what we're up to. And so that's another thing too. So you write a new book, and then you get a hit in the Canadian Content Corner. You also get a hit on their actual website. They have several places on the websites that the general public sees. You know, so right away you have some marketing. Then they have all the database and lists you can send out your book reviews and so on. So there's definitely a lot of perks to getting in Ontario. Los Angeles also has a personal chapter that meets all the time too. They've started doing that the last couple of years. But not all the chapters are only, like I did it, I've been doing it about 15 years because it's like, hey, we're in Ontario, we're in Toronto, we should be doing things. So I made us do things. And that's just how it started. So if you're in Alberta and you're like, hey, I'm part of HWA, I want to get a team going, just do it. And there's no magical person you have to go to. You just decide you want to do it and do it.
And anybody who is published, you probably have already found out, promotion is the hardest part of the whole 9 yards. And you're constantly trying to find some way to get the word out there. So these are invaluable tools. They really enhance your capacities. And don't know.
It's tough. Anybody else have anything to say about opportunities HWA provides for them, or?
I think you covered them pretty well. I should say just the two websites to start from there. Horror.org is the main HWA website, and our website locally is hwa.lovehorror.biz. You can find more information about us there.
This segment brought to you by Nuki Kubai by Stephen B. Pearl. When a wizard encounters a Japanese goblin that is feasting on the people of Toronto, he decides that he must put a stop to this. But soon the question becomes just who's hunting who, and his allies may prove to be more trouble than he can possibly imagine. Enjoy the works of Stephen B. Pearl.